Hi everybody, thank you so much for your time. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to stream and record your tutorial or presentation. So let's get started. Okay, so before I talk about all the tools that I use, there are a few things that I wanted to share before that. First thing is this video is not sponsored by any of the tools or brands that I use, okay? Now, of course, for the audio side, I run an audio website. So I use what I sell. I sell what I use, and that's simple about that. If you need to find out more, of course, you can always contact me. Other than that, the rest of tools is just mainly I like them because I find it is useful, so I share with them. So as not any affiliate marketing, right? So that is the disclaimer. Next thing is the objective. Okay, now how do I consider what tools to buy and what tools to use? There are two main considerations. First thing is my objective. So for me, video is not really my focus. So I want to cut down all the post productions for all the videos that I record or I stream. So that's why I choose all these tools, because I really want to have tools that are very convenient for me to use. Just record and get it done. That's it. Because I don't have a lot of time and I don't want to spend a lot of time doing all the editings and etc. Okay, so of course, if you have time and it's your interest, you can invest more, of course. Now, second considerations for me is budget. Okay, so many of us, we don't have a lot of budgets because we are not sure whether we want to really invest all the tools and gadgets, or we just have other commitments. That is totally fine. So what I'm going to share is to have those tools that are affordable and those tools that I use are not super expensive, that it is still considered affordable. But of course, you can choose. There are some free options that I also use, and I will share with you. Okay, so enough talking. So let's get started. Now, first thing is on the gadget. All right. So I'll share with you the hardware first, and then we'll go into the software. So for hardware, I would strongly encourage you to have a minimum, at least, an USB microphone. So why is it so? Now, when you are doing a recording, okay, so recording, you need good sound quality. Nowadays, almost, I think 70% of the USB mic can do a pretty decent job. Okay, so you can get a pretty cheap USB mic that is below $100. So that will work for you on your computer, on your mobile phone, or on your tablet as well. So use that. Why do I say audio is important as compared with video? And many times, if you have experienced that, is that when we on a call on Zoom with the other party, you may have very low quality video, but if you can hear the person clearly, it's still not too bad. But on the other hand, if you have a clear video but you can't hear the person clearly, that's where things get a little bit frustrated, right? So audio is very important. So that's why I would recommend the first thing, very minimum, you should get a USB microphone. Okay, a Rode will work well. I have a Rode iOS mic that can attach directly to my iPhone. That's good enough. Okay, of course, some of you may think that I don't even want to invest on that. Then please go and get a good earphone, at least the wired one with a microphone when you speak. That is relatively cheap, maybe $10-20. You can get a relatively okay and decent earphone with a microphone. At least that is the bare below standard minimum that you need to have. Okay, that is very important. Don't just use your computer's microphone to do recording or to do your Zoom call. It is going to be quite bad, especially if you are outside in a very noisy environment. Although I would say that nowadays Zoom has very powerful sound noise suppressions algorithm, but still you need the other party to hear clearly. You should get good microphone or decent microphone. So that is the gadget side. Okay, so for me on this setup, what you are hearing now is I'm using an audio interface, I'm using a condenser mic, and I'm using an in-ear earphone. Okay, so let me show you what I use. But first, let me just do some configuration on my setting, okay, so that you can see clearer. Okay, so what you are seeing now is my Mac Mini, okay, and then this is the audio interface that I use, Audient ID14. There is a entry level called ID4, which only has one input for the mic and the instrument input. So what I do is I actually connect my condenser microphone, which is the other side, which is quite difficult for me to show you. Okay, so I connected this and then run through my computer, and that's how you get to hear my sound. And on the right side you will see a simple LED light. Okay, that's why I got it. I remember, if I'm not wrong, I got it from Shopee or Amazon. You can pretty much go there and do a search on the LED lighting. Most of them will work fine. This one comes with a controller. Okay, so let me just come back to here. All right, so this one comes with a controller, and then you can actually use it. Okay, so I switch back the settings. So this controller is good, so you can adjust the lighting. Now the reason why I use this LED lighting is because I needed to show a little bit more clearer in the front pictures, especially if your room is not bright enough. By right, the proper setting, it should be two lighting behind, and then on top you have one lighting. In front you also have a lighting, and of course if you want to do a green screen, you can also invest that, but I don't think that is necessary for me, as I mean, at least now I just want to have decent lighting in the front. Then the rest I can use the software to optimize that. So that will be pretty much the case. And of course, in terms of the earphone, I use an in-ear earphone from Sennheiser. This one also pretty cheap. I think it's less than $100. Less than $100. Okay, so of course you can have a more expensive headphone. I have one that I use it for productions, for music productions, and I have a pair of studio monitors in the room. But you can have a decent earphone so that you can hear clearly. That is good enough. So that is the hardware. Now in terms of the video camera, what I'm using is my iPhone 11. Okay, I find that it is good enough for me at this stage. What I do is basically connect the cable directly to my Mac, and that's it. Now, one thing I need to share with you. So what you are seeing now, most of the apps work only for Mac. Okay, so I will share with you, I will tell you whether this work on whatever platform, but most of the apps that I use, they work on Mac only. So if you are Windows user, unfortunately, Ecamm Live will not work for you. Okay, so this is really for Mac people. Now, so of course there are a lot of debates whether Mac or Windows that works well and all that kind of stuff. As long as it works for you, it works for you. It doesn't matter whether it's Mac or Windows that works better. Okay, so both has their own strength. Okay, a lot of Windows, a lot of apps in the Windows are catching up. So I hope really Apple need to work harder in this area. But in any case, let's move on. Okay, now so camera, I use this. Now let me just show you my desktop. Okay, so so we are done with the hardware. So now I'm gonna show you the software. Okay, so let me just share my apps. Okay, on the live demo mode. Ta-da! Okay, so this is what you are seeing on my screen. So it's a little cluttered, don't worry. Okay, so let me show you my desktop. Okay, so this is really nice. I recently just updated to Sonoma. Okay, so this is very nice. I put the gadgets over here, so every time I switch on, I know what I need to do if I want to continue to listen to my podcast in the days, and of course scriptures. That's very important. Okay, now anyway, back to here. So what you're seeing on my screen is the screen of the Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live. This is the app that I use to record and stream all these tutorials. So the reason why I like this is because I can plan my slides and then I will do my stream or I do my recording. Once I've done, and then I can straight away upload to YouTube, and that's it, done. I barely need to do any post-production unless the audio is the audio level is low. Then I need to increase the volume. Then I can use either iMovies or Filmora, the free versions, to do that. And that is the bare minimums that I do. In terms of video quality, I usually just leave it as it is. Okay, now previously you saw this transition, right? So let me just show you how this Ecamm Live works. Okay, now first thing first, let's show you the price. Okay, it's not expensive. It's $20 per month on the standard plan. Pro plan, it's a little bit high, $40, but you get a lot more features. For me, this is on the monthly plan. Of course, yearly plan is slightly cheaper. So I subscribe to the standard plan because what I basically need is to be able to stream up to 10 destinations. I may maximum probably just 3 or 4, and that's it. But usually I stream on 1 or 2, that's all. And I can do my screen sharing, picture in pictures, high quality recording, in-app comment streams and all that, green screen, and that's good enough for me. If you are a little bit more adventurous that you want to have, like for example, live interviews, the interviewees, you do not need to they do not need to install additional apps. They can just turn on click on the link and use their browser to do the interviews. You can do you can subscribe to this plan, and that's fine. You need a virtual mic, virtual webcam. You want to send the whatever videos that you prepared over in an Ecamm to your Zoom automatically using the virtual cam, you can subscribe to that plan. If not, actually the standard plan is good enough. Okay, now let's back to Ecamm Live. So what I like about them is that there are a lot of flexibilities that I can do with Ecamm Live to plan. Now a lot of time when we do streamings or when we do tutorials or recording, we will just talk whatever that we want to do. But this guy, when I learned to use this, it is very helpful because I need to pre-plan, and I can pre-plan what I need to say, what I need to do, what I need to teach. So this is a very helpful. So for example, I can have different scenes. What you see over here is a different scene that I have. I can have a default scene, and then just now you see the transitions. I can do. And then after the transitions, what do I actually do? I can pre-plan all this. So for example, this one, after the transitions, my setting is that it goes to the next scene, which is here. All right. So I can also plan another scene that has a different layout. So in this case, I want to share with the audience the lyrics of the song. So I can actually run the keynote to prepare my presentations. In this case, the new keynote is very nice. If you can see that the background is dynamic, it has this dynamic background, it is really nice. Okay, so it moves around slowly and it's fantastic. Okay, I love it, absolutely love it. Okay, so you can even change the color. But that aside, what I can do is I can play without going to full screen. Okay, I just play window, and then when I come here at Ecamm Live, I can see this, okay, and people can still see my face, so I can interact with people and still sharing my presentation. Okay, now of course later on when I want to switch to next scenes, I can just run the scene. I can also run the scene using Stream Deck. Okay, so this is another gadget. I can use Stream Deck. They have a physical one, or I can use my iPhone. I have another spare phone iPhone 7, run the apps. The apps is a subscription base. If I'm not wrong, it's about $4 a month if you need to. Now I unsubscribe because I don't really need that. I can just manually go and do it or use my keyboard shortcut to run the scene. So this is how I like. And the other very important thing is that I can have the sound effect. This one is my favorite. Okay, so this is very nice. You can also have different setup on configurations on your sound level. On the right hand side, you can see over here. Okay, let me switch back to default scene. So over here, you can choose different cameras, right? I'll go into that in a short while. You can have green screen, zoom and pan, and you can also see your comments and reactions if you're doing live. Okay, so this is a good way that you don't need to look at your phone to see the comments, and you can straight away see it from here. Okay, now let me share with you a little bit about the camera. So what you see over here is under the camera called Camo camera. Okay, so just now I shared with you when I run the video, I connect to my iPhone 11, so I stream directly. So I actually downloaded this app called Camo Studio. This is a free app. Of course, you can also upgrade with a little bit more flexibility in terms of features. You get more features, but the basic one is good enough for me. Okay, so what I like about this device is that you can actually connect directly to your phone and then to your Mac. So from here you can see if you're using a USB connector, it actually charges my phone and while I'm streaming, okay, while I'm using the video. If you're using a USB-A, I don't think it will charge, but if you're using a USB-C cable to your lightning cable, it will work, it will charge. Now you can choose the lens. Okay, so you can choose the front lens, or let me switch. So this is my, yeah, you can see the background, right? So I can switch it back. Okay, and it allows me to choose the frame. Okay, now because it's a free version, so I can go only up to 720, which is good enough. What you're seeing here is pretty clear, and I can run 60 FPS, right? 60 frames per second. This is good enough for me. Okay, and of course, another thing I like is that it has the overlay. Okay, Ecamm Live it can also do overlay, but this one is easier, I find. So when I do it for my work, I can switch for different overlay, you know. Yeah, so these are nice tools. And one particular features that I like is this thing called background. So I can actually have a natural background where you can see now this is my room. It is clear, but if I want to do a portrait mode, I can switch to portrait. I can actually change the blur level. Okay, so now it's very blur, right? So you can see the difference. Okay, so I don't want it to be so blur. I can just set it over here, and they have this thing called spotlight. Spotlight is very useful because, like for example, I may not have a front LED lighting in front of me. So how do I separate my image from my background? I can use the spotlight. So when I turn on the spotlight, you can see that they actually lighten the subject. So I can increase the spotlight. They will dim the background. So that separates you from the background. So this is a very good features, I find. And this is very important. I get all this thing free. Okay, so you can adjust the levels of your white balance and all that. They have this interesting emoji, so you can use your emoji hand and it will show the emoji. So this is very convenient, and it actually helps to interact with your audience. So this is nice. So it works on iOS, it works on the Windows. Android I have not tried before, okay, but it works on Windows and Mac and iOS. Android I'm not sure, you can try. I have not really checked. Okay, now let's back to Ecamm Live. Okay, so I feed my video using my iPhone through the Camo Studio to Ecamm Live. This is what you see over here. Okay, so I can do a lot of stuff over here, planning the transitions, planning the different scenes, etc. So I can run videos, I can even screen sharing as well. I can do screen sharing and then it will run through. So there are a lot of amazing things that you can do over using the Ecamm Live. Okay, so this is generally how I do my tutorial. I can do like for example, the very common one you see is the round overlay at the bottom, so you can still see my face, but most of the screens are my shared screen. So these are all if things that you can do, effects that you can do on Ecamm Live. Okay, so this is the apps that I use. Okay, so Ecamm Live, Camel Studio. Now the other one that I want to share with you is this thing called Loopback. So this is also a very helpful apps. The reason why I got it is because it's really saved me a lot of time and troubles in case the audio doesn't work. So Loopback, you can go to their website. It's Rogue Amoeba. Amoeba, I think that's the right pronunciation. I'm not sure. But anyway, so you can Google Loopback Mac apps and it will just appear. You can download it for free and run it, and it will just periodically it will cut off the audio, but other than that it's just an app that you can use. If you want to purchase it, if you have additional budget, I would strongly recommend it. They actually raise a little bit, $99. It depends on your local tax. I mean, in Singapore we have to pay like $9, so now they put it like 108. Okay, so now what this app does is that, so you can see these are sources, right? So I have all the sources. This is my audio interface, this is Ecamm Live, my Logic Pros, my music, Apple Music, whatever apps that relate to sound that I want to play, I add them in as a source. Okay, now in a detailed setup and configurations, if you need help, please you can put it in the comments, or you can contact me if you know my telegrams or WhatsApp. You can catch up with me. I'll share with you the details in terms of how to do the configurations, or you can put it in the comments. Maybe our next videos I'll make one to share with you the details. But now the overall idea is that whatever sources of the sound that you put it over here, it will automatically route it to the main channel, the stereo channels, meaning that when I do my presentations on Ecamm Live, okay, or Zoom, the problem with Zoom is that every time when I want to share my screen, I have to click on share audio. So for example, when I want to share my screen, I have to click share sound. If I don't share sound, I won't be able to hear the music or the sound audios that is played on the video. But if I use Loopback, I will solve this problem, because whenever the sound that needs to go through the Zoom app, it automatically gets routed to the output channel. So I don't even need to bother about whether I share the sound or not. It will just work. Okay, now same thing goes to different channels. So let's say for example, I am recording these sessions, okay, on the Ecamm Live, and then I want to share a songs that is from music. I can just play. You hear that, right? Okay, so okay, let me just pause it. Now if I want to share, let's say for example this one, YouTube video, I have to click share. No, I just play. Now the reason why you are hearing all this intermittent disruptions, I think probably is due to the bit rate. Okay, but other than that, it will just work. Okay, now next thing is that Loopback, you can choose, let's say, podcast and all that. The other benefit is that when I use QuickTime, okay, so let me show you the QuickTime. Sorry, this is QuickTime player. So if you use QuickTime before and do a screen recording, you'll find that sometimes you record it and only the output has only one side of the sound that comes out from your earpiece. Okay, so that is especially those of you who uses the audio interface, because your audio interface has two channels. So when it record to QuickTime, it actually record only the mono side. So only one side you can hear. Most likely is the left side that you will hear. So this is actually a problem, because when I want to record a simple screen recording, I don't need a lot of sophisticated apps like running on Ecamm and all that. I'm not doing a live presentations. So what I do is I use the QuickTime app, and then after I've done the recording, as you can see, right? So after I've done the recording, then I have to convert and change the sound from mono to stereo. So that takes a lot of work. But after I've installed this loopback, it makes it so easy. I just turn it on, record, and done. That's it. I don't need to do any post editing. So this really saved me a lot of time. Okay, now so that is for the audio. So a quick recap, we had, okay, let me show my face again. So we have the videos using Ecamm Live, the Camo Studio for the videos. I'm using my iPhone as a video cam. I don't need to get an additional DSLR, right? So that is good enough for me. And then you can also use the loopback for the audio. Now, one more thing that I want to share with you before we close these sessions is this thing called Let's View. Let's View app is very useful, especially if you want to do screen mirroring. So this screen mirroring app is very useful. You have to connect to the same Wi-Fi network in order for it to work. So how I use this is that sometimes I need to share my mobile screen together or next to a browser screens to do a demo. So I will use the Let's View to do that. And sometimes I even need to show my laptop's screen because I'm using a Windows laptop, and then I want to do a demo using the Mac to do the recording. I can actually use this Let's View to do a screen mirroring. This app is free, okay? Of course, the downside of using a free version is that it only gives you not a full HD, okay? But if you want to upgrade, you can definitely do a upgrade. So this is the one, right? So you can go and check it out. But I find that the free version is good enough for me, so I don't really need to use the paid version. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. I've gone through most of the setup with you. Let me know if you need further explanations. I probably do another video, but I think so far that's all about it. Thank you so much for spending your time and watch until this at the end of the video. Okay, so we'll catch up again. See you next time. Bye bye.